my last question, and I guess this will be like, and you guys could probably kind of figure this out, right, what he's talked about, but if someone was in the market for a truck right now, since you've owned so many different trucks, and since, especially recently, with the new F-150, with the new Tundra, which one would you recommend the most? And I know people probably already figured after what you said, but which one would you recommend the most? Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and this is gonna be a pretty interesting video today. We're gonna be talking to a particular person that bought a brand new F-150, traded it for the brand new 2022 Toyota Tundra, and then they immediately traded their Tundra back in for another new F-150. And so, yeah, I just think it's gonna be a really interesting story. And well, let's get right into it. So we've got Andy here that has had an interesting situation with his truck purchases in the last little bit. Like I said, F-150 to Tundra, and then back into an F-150. And so I figure I'd just let you tell the story, and no pressure. I don't know how many views this video is going to get, but I mean, there might be, 50, 100,000 people that'll, basically choose their truck based on what you're saying after this.
Cool, yeah, no pressure. I don't know that my story is all that exciting, but yeah, I had an F-150 that a friend bought, so I bought another F-150. So the one previous to the Tundra was a Tremor that I lifted in wheels, tires, and it was a great truck. And I decided I wanted a Tundra, so I found one. I had to have the Limited and the Crew Max. So I found one that was coming. It was Army Green, that was pretty cool. And then I found Westcott Designs that was lifting them and put 37s. And I thought, that sounds like fun. So I'm gonna go get a Tundra and lift it and put 37s. So I got it, and I hate rattles. And I gotta be honest, that thing rattled when I drove it away from the lot. Rattled in the headliner. The A-pillar plastic rattled, and there was something in the dash that was just driving me insane. So I thought, it's okay, I can get past it. Turn the radio up, right? That gets you what you need to be. That's how you fix rattles, you just turn the radio up. The screen in it is super cool. It's really big. I think its space is used poorly. If you've driven an F-150 and compare them, you'll find that there's a pretty big difference about how they're using that screen. I didn't think the space was good, so I just thought, okay, there's other things. I'm sure I can get past it. New motor, same essentially motor, right, as the EcoBoost Ford, and it just feels, to me, everybody's gonna hate on this, right? Everybody's gonna have their opinion, and they're gonna write terrible things in the comments about me. Be cool. And it just felt sluggish, I guess, compared to the Ford. And that was pre-37s that I'm talking about. And again, as you and I spoke a little bit ago, I mean, it's 1,000 pounds heavier, right? So yeah. It's a much heavier truck. Little things, the hump in the rear seat of the Tundra was something kind of wild to me. I don't have my kids in my truck a lot, but when I do, it's bothersome. And they complained about it, which I thought was kind of funny. I had a Limited, which I guess isn't the nicest Tundra you can get, but it didn't have like a regular plug in the back seat, just had a couple of USBs, which again, I thought was a little bit strange. And it just added up to a whole bunch of, I really thought the Ford, let me back up. I think the Ford is a better truck. I think it's built better. I had another previous gen Tundra. I've had 3 Tacomas, which I'm probably a little too tall to drive. If you can't tell, Ben's like 4'11". Yeah. So just bear in mind, Ben's only 4'11". So he gets a handicap sticker just because how tall he is. At any rate, all those things put together, I've had several Fords. They're smoother, they're tighter, they're faster for me. I think Ford does an amazing job with space. How much room is in the truck. The comfort level, I thought the seats, again in the Tundra, were really stiff and kind of, I don't know, for a truck that's that kind of money, I just thought they could do better. And saw an opportunity to move off it and back to an F-150.
So I got 2 questions.
Okay, go.
Do you ever think that you're going to give Toyota another chance after what you experienced with the Tacomas and then now with the new Tundra?
For sure. Toyota makes a great truck. I think Tacomas are in that mid-sized truck market, I don't think you can beat them, personally. My one complaint with Tacomas has always been that they're gutless. They just don't have enough juice, and I think with Toyota finally going to a turbocharged power plant, that they'll probably do the same thing, is my guess.
Hopefully.
You probably know, but I assume that they'll do the same thing. You know, because what is it? Is it next year that the 4Runner changes?
Yeah, 23.
23, the 4Runner changes, and I suspect they'll do a power plant very similar to that. I hope, because they just need more power. But yeah, I mean, sometimes the first generation of a new truck is hard, and I think my opinion is that it stunned Toyota with that Tundra.
And then my last question, and I guess this will be like, and you guys could probably kind of figure this out, right, what he's talked about, but if someone was in the market for a truck right now, since you've owned so many different trucks, and since, especially recently with the new F-150, with the new Tundra, which one would you recommend the most? And I know people probably already figured after what you said, but which one would you recommend the most for just someone that wants like a good pickup truck that's going to last a long time and is, you know, probably going to meet like normal pickup truck needs? Good towing, good payload capacity, space, all that.
I mean, obviously, I think my suggestion would be the Ford. I think it's a great truck. I think they build a great truck and have for a long time. I think the Ford tows more. I think the Ford has a better payload. And just straight comfort and drivability on a daily basis, my opinion is that the Ford's a better truck.
There you go. There you go. Rolling away in his new F-150. And on a side note, it sounds like he's going to be driving a pink Jeep Wrangler in the very near future. Now, before we get into finishing off today's video, again, I really want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Andy for telling his story. And you know, it actually helped me out quite a bit, because obviously I review these vehicles on a regular basis, but there's a big difference between reviewing a vehicle and living with a vehicle. A lot of the points that he made about the Tundra are things that I hadn't even considered, because again, I don't actually live with the vehicles on a regular basis. I mean, unless it's like these press cars that the press cars I get for a week at a time, but there's a big difference still between getting a car for a week and having a vehicle for months at a time, right? So I just want to cap things off with my personal opinion on the Tundra and I guess this whole situation overall. So first off, I don't think the Tundra is a lost cause, because when you compare the new Tundra to the previous Tundra, it is just a huge improvement. Better fuel economy, better transmission. The engine has more power, more torque. Towing capacity still there. Payload capacity still there. The interior is so much better. The exterior looks so much better. And so again, when you compare the Tundra to the previous version of the Tundra, it is a huge improvement. So like, just like how you're supposed to like compare your personal best to your like future personal best, right? That kind of stuff, right? If you're like weightlifting or anything in life, right? You compare yourself to yourself. When you compare the Tundra to itself, huge improvement. But obviously when you compare it to some of the competition, which a lot of you are going to be doing because you're deciding what truck you want to buy, right? There are some downsides to the new Tundra, but some of those downsides could potentially be subjective. Some of them are completely objective, but some of them could be subjective, like looks, for example. Some people just like the look of an F-150 more than they like the look of the Tundra. Some people like the interior styling of the F-150 more than the Tundra, and vice versa. Like, for example, with the new F-150, it has this cool, techie, futuristic interior. But with the Tundra, it has this like durable, kind of almost like military-esque looking interior. And some people like that a lot more. And so really, a lot of these things are going to be based off of personal preference. And again, like I said, there are definitely some objective points that Andy mentioned. And again, it fundamentally changed my opinion on both the trucks after hearing what he said, you know, living with both the trucks for an extended period of time. And so again, I think there's a lot of really good information there, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm gonna have to sit on for quite some time. But I guess that to fully finish things off, what I'd have to say is there's still reasons to buy the Tundra, and there's still reasons to buy the Ford F-150. And in Andy's particular case, it made way more sense to go back to the F-150 over the Tundra, because the Tundra just didn't meet all of his needs as a truck enthusiast and as someone who uses it as a family vehicle, all the things that he uses the truck for. It did not meet his needs, whereas the F-150 does. And so if you're in a similar situation as Andy, right, then I guess F-150. But if you're in a different situation, then, you know, maybe the Tundra makes more sense. Hopefully that makes sense. That was kind of a bunch of jumbled thoughts. But again, I really, really appreciate Andy for telling his story. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below, and I'll see you. I think it's gonna be good. Okay, so